All right, guys, what's happening? It's Oscar Sigvaldi here, and today I have something very special for you that you guys are really gonna fucking appreciate. All right, so you better take to the end. This is the exact way of selling that's got me from an average 20 to 25% closing rate to closing at more than 50 and even 60% without changing the offer, changing the product, promising guarantees, all sorts of things. I'll give you a very good understanding about what I'm actually talking about here and how it all works in a bit. So let's just crack right into it. All right, guys. So most closers, they obsess over scripts and objection handling tricks. While those can work, I want to show you the one shift that literally doubled my close rate without changing anything about the product I was selling. And this is what I call identity selling, and it literally changes everything. So to accomplish any result, you have to make decisions, take actions, and behave like the version of yourself who already has that result. So we're not selling the product anymore. We're helping the prospect step into a personal transformation. I'll give you a few identity-based shifts you can implement on your calls that directly will lead to more closed deals. Now, this is very important, right? You must understand the significance behind the change that the prospect wants to make for this to work properly at first. But that's another video. So think of it like this, right? The $100 per day version of someone only thinks on a daily survival basis. The risk tolerance is low. They avoid responsibility and bigger decisions. Now, the 6K a month version of things in weeks. They're planning ahead. They're taking ownership. They're making mid-range decisions. But the 250K year version, CEO, business owner, closer, whatever, that person plans quarterly. They invest, they move fast, and they take full ownership, right? So if you want to close like a 10K per month rep, you have to become that version now, not wait until you get there, right? And the same goes for your prospects. So here's exactly how to actually use it in conversations. You ask identity-based questions, right? The version of you who's already hit goal, right? Again, you need to understand the significance behind the change that they want to make. So we just label this as a goal now. Yeah, it could be supporting their family. It could be providing for their girlfriend. It could be leaving a job, whatever it might be that's actually meaningful to them. How does he think? Now we're taking he as an example, yeah? How does he think, act, and decide compared to the version you are today? What would they do differently in this exact situation that you're facing right now? So what do we need to let go of right now to start becoming that person? Okay, so when would be the right time to step into that version of you? So these questions hit a bit deeper than logic. They speak to the identity, which is what people ultimately buy with, right? This is questions you can use when you have already identified the gap between where they are right now and where they want to go, right? So we're selling them on a new identity, the person they are now and the person they fucking know they can become. What you'll notice is that most objections are really just the prospect falling back into their old identity, right? Everything seems great until they have to put money behind the words to actually take action. You've probably heard something like, I've never done something like this before. This just isn't the way I usually make decisions. And then you respond with, hey, that's fair enough, but is that the version of you that's gotten the result you want, or the one that's actually kept you stuck and ultimately put you in the position you are today? Honest question. Like if they're actually honest with you and you've identified the gap, they will answer that, yeah, it's probably the current version of me. Okay, so which one are you more committed to moving forward with today? How can we expect a different outcome if we keep holding on to the same patterns that got you to where you are today? And just with these simple questions, right, they will think deeper than logic. Again, they'll think, wait, that doesn't make sense. If I keep doing the same, like, how can I expect a different outcome? It's the fucking truth. And this is actually very simple, but it fucking works. Now, objection handling, right? This is where a lot of closers, they go wrong. And this is where people, they start to fucking smell that commission breath. Let's say that they're in fear of moving forward and investing. So the version of you 6 months from now who's already crushing it, does he let fear control his decisions, or does he feel it and take action anyway because he's a fucking savage and he's willing to confront his own limiting beliefs to achieve goal? Again, right, that could be something way more significant than just himself and this fear and this investment, like helping his family, providing for his girlfriend, being the fucking man he always wanted to be. Like, does he let his own mental limitations get in the way of achieving that? No, he fucking doesn't. So why are you doing it? Now, money, right? First off, you need to get context on the logistics here. Does the prospect actually have the money or not, right? If yes, but they're still not moving forward and you've actually done a good job of closing, then you know is most likely fear. Fear of investing, fear of failing, etc. etc. So what you do here is just go back to what we just went through here, right? If the prospect actually doesn't have the money, this is what you say. Well, there's always two types of people here, right? There is the version of you who's using the lack of resources as an excuse not to achieve goal. And there is a version of you who's taken ownership of the situation by looking for ways to get resourceful so he can actually invest into the right skill set and ultimately achieve his goal. Now, let me ask you, which one do you think is most likely to achieve his goals? Well, obviously, the one who's willing to get resourceful. Okay. So what do you feel like you would have to do right now, not tomorrow, right now, to put yourself in the best position to actually become that 2.0 version of you? And just be silent. Let them fucking, let them sink it in. Fuck, it's so good. Now, time. And this is always fucking bullshit because everyone has the time. It's just a lack of priority, right? It's pretty much the same as if the prospect physically doesn't have the money. Again, right? It's about their commitment and their willingness to find the fucking time. Make them think from a perspective of the version of them they actually want to become, right? Would the best version of you who is achieving goal put his goals off because of time or anything external? Or is he willing to do what it fucking takes no matter the circumstances? Because what happens then, let's say 6-8 months down the line, when you have a successful business, again, we're future pacing here, and you start to get busy, would you then just shut down the business and go back to your old life, work a 9 to 5? Or would you actually find a way to make it work? Okay, again, same question. So, what do you feel like you should do right now to actually start stepping into that version of yourself? Because the only one responsible for the situation you're in right now, who's that? Okay, that's you. That's beautiful though, because that means you have the control and you have the power to fucking change it. So why do we keep letting external circumstances and limiting beliefs come in the way when you know you have the fucking control of changing this? So this really just isn't mindset fluff, right? Identity selling changed the way people that see themselves. And when someone see themselves differently, they make better and braver decisions. A fat person won't become fit before they start thinking, identifying, and acting as if they were a fit person. And this way of selling literally doubled my close rate, not because I became pushier, but because I started speaking into who they could become and made them realize that the only thing standing in their way right now is themselves and their own limiting beliefs. So I literally even started using these fucking questions on myself when I have to make a decision. And it works, honestly. It's great. Now, if you want a bit of a deeper breakdown here of my whole framework, how I structure the call, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to provide more value and see if I can help in any way possible. All right, let's fucking go. Woo!